Is version control really about time travel or about lying to yourself? Before we start, quick note. This is as spoiler-free as a discussion of grief, regret and moral collapse can reasonably be. No major plot reveals, no ending discussion, but we are absolutely talking about what this book is doing under the hood. Version Control by Dexter Palmer is often described as a time-bending science fiction novel, which is technically true in the same way that calling Macbeth a career progression story is technically true. Yes, there is advanced technology, yes, causality gets nudged out of alignment, but the real subject of this book is not time. It is grief, regret, ambition, and the deeply human habit of convincing oneself that one more adjustment will finally fix everything. From the outset, Palmer makes it clear that this will not be a comforting read. This is a novel that treats big ideas not as toys, but as stress tests. What happens when the possibility of revising reality collides with people who are already emotionally compromised, professionally insecure and morally tired? The answer is not clarity or heroism, it's rationalisation. The setup, a relationship already under strain. Before any speculative technology enters the picture, the central relationship is already under serious pressure. Rebecca and Philip are a long-term couple carrying unresolved grief, quiet resentment and emotional fatigue after a devastating loss. They function, they cope, they continue, but nothing about their equilibrium is stable. Palmer is very precise about that. The science does not break the relationship, it simply gives it sharper tools with which to fail. Philip becomes involved in a research project centred on what is carefully called a causality violation device, not a time machine, because calling it that would make the consequences sound exciting rather than unsettling. Early anomalies appear, small things, plausible things, the sort of things that can be explained away if you are motivated enough, ambitious enough, or frightened enough of what acknowledging them might cost you. No fireworks, no grand spectacle, just enough wrongness to make denial an active choice. A future that feels uncomfortably familiar. This is a near-future world that barely feels futuristic at all. Self-driving cars exist, media cycles are relentless, politics is personalised and strangely hollow, online dating culture hums quietly in the background, nothing screams science fiction. That is deliberate. Palmer understands that if reality ever did start to wobble, it would not announce itself with neon lights. It would arrive inside systems that already exist, carried forward by people who are already tired, stressed and incentivised to keep going. The result is a world that feels less imagined than recognised. Science as an institutional mess, not a miracle. One of the novel's sharpest achievements is how it depicts scientific research. This is not a noble ivory tower, it's a landscape of funding applications, career anxiety, rivalry, media pressure and administrators who would very much like the future delivered on schedule and under budget. Palmer understands that revolutionary ideas do not arrive in a vacuum. They arrive inside committees, inside grant proposals, inside fragile egos. The technology itself almost becomes secondary to the environment that surrounds it, because that environment determines how far people are willing to go before asking whether they should stop. This is science fiction that understands bureaucracy as a force of nature. Time is not the villain, people are. What version control does exceptionally well is to refuse to externalise blame. Time is not malicious, physics is not cruel. The damage comes from choices, compromises, and the stories people tell themselves to justify them. The novel returns again and again to the idea of revision, not just revising events, but revisiting responsibility. If something could not have happened any other way, then no one is really at fault. If causality is flexible, guilt becomes negotiable. That idea is enormously appealing, especially to people carrying grief or shame. Palmer's great insight is that this desire is itself a moral hazard. The fantasy of correction becomes an excuse for avoidance, and avoidance in this book is far more destructive than error. a structure that mirrors emotional instability. The novel structure quietly reinforces its themes. Scenes are revisited, reframed and recontextualised, not to show cleverness but to demonstrate how meaning shifts depending on what you are willing to see. This can feel unsettling, and that is the point. The reader experiences a controlled version of the same instability the characters live with. Certainty erodes, confidence thins, interpretation becomes provisional. This is not a puzzle to be solved, it's a condition to be endured. Prose that refuses to let you off the hook. Palmer's prose is precise, dense and quietly unforgiving. Sentences carry weight. Interior monologues expose contradictions characters would prefer not to acknowledge. Dialogue is painfully realistic, full of people talking around the truth while believing they are being honest. There is dark humour here too, the kind that emerges naturally when intelligent people construct impeccable logic in service of terrible decisions. The book is less interested in judging those characters than in understanding them, which somehow makes everything more uncomfortable. What this book is really about. At its core, version control is about regret and the illusion of control. It asks why people are so desperate to believe that one altered moment would have saved them, when the evidence suggests that they would simply have found a new way to fail. It's also about grief, not as something to resolve, but as something that reshapes identity and ethics. Grief here does not make people noble, it makes them selective. It sharpens some values and quietly erases others. And finally, it's about responsibility, not cosmic responsibility or abstract philosophy, but the exhausting daily responsibility of owning one's choices without appealing to fate, inevitability or clever technology as an alibi. Why this book frustrates some readers. This is not a fast book, it's not reassuring, it does not offer likeable heroes or clean resolutions. Readers looking for momentum, spectacle or technical exposition may feel stranded. That frustration is understandable, it's also revealing. Version control is not interested in comfort, it's interested in honesty. Who this book is for? This novel is for readers who enjoy speculative fiction that uses ideas as a lens rather than as a destination. It will resonate with those interested in moral responsibility, grief, memory, and the quiet ways people betray themselves while insisting they are doing the right thing. It's not for readers who want a clever gadget and a victory lap. Final verdict: a dangerous thought experiment disguised as a novel. Version control is unsettling because it refuses to let readers imagine themselves as wiser than its characters. It suggests that given the same pressures, the same losses and the same temptations, most people would make the same choice and tell the same lies. Dexter Palmer has written a novel that lingers not because of what it imagines about time, but because of what it understands about people. If you could revise your past, would you actually fix anything, or would you simply find a more elaborate way to avoid responsibility? That question is the real engine of version control, and it does not let go easily. If you enjoy this sort of long-form book talk and want more thoughtful science fiction discussions, consider subscribing to the channel and sticking around. I post detailed reviews every week, along with conversations about ideas, themes and books that deserve more attention. Your comments and support genuinely help this channel grow, and they help more readers find these videos. So if this one interested you, hit subscribe, leave a comment and join the conversation. More reviews are on the way.